There is more hurling going on in the EV market than ever. Nio is expanding its EV battery lease business across Europe by opening more swap stations, while Toyota CEO is making plans to double back on its EV strategy. Is there anything else going on that we're not aware of? There most certainly is. So, hi everyone, and welcome back to TechZen. In today's video, we will discuss Nio and Toyota's future plans. So stick around till the end. So first, let's dig into Nio. The Chinese electric car company, Nio, has already planted its flag in Europe, but it is just getting started including its plans to grow outside of China. The president of the company recently said that Nio plans to offer battery lease programs and a huge increase in the number of swap stations as a way to attract more customers in the EU and get a bigger share of the growing EV market outside of China. Nio is a Chinese tech company that specializes in high-end EVs. It is now starting to sell its products in new markets in Europe outside of China. Nio has a range of all-electric SUVs and sedans, and it is also one of the first companies to use battery swap technology to support its EVs. The car company has more than 1,000 swap stations in China alone, and it has started putting them in its newer markets as well. It could give licenses to other automakers to use the technology in the future. It just recently said that its third-generation stations can store energy and send it back to their own power grids. In Europe, Nio already sells and delivers EVs in Norway, and this year, it will start selling in Germany as well. After the first shipments of its ET7 sit-in overseas, it has already talked about other plans to grow. Nio ET7 sets sail for Europe and will be available for booking and delivery in Germany, the Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. This will give more people in Europe a full service system and a nice way to live. As Nio grows in the EU, it wants to compete with local giants like Mercedes-Benz and BMW, but it has a unique plan that it hopes will set it apart from other electric vehicle companies. A recent report from Reuters says that Nio wants to get a bigger share of the electric vehicle market in Europe by offering consumers lower prices through battery lease programs and a larger network of EV battery swap stations. Qin Lihong, president and co-founder of Nio, says that the company plans to build 1,000 battery swap terminals outside of China over the next 3 years, with most of them in Europe. This will help the company sell more electric vehicles in Germany and other places. Nio has been testing its rechargeable batteries, leasing and swap station business with its ES8 SUV in Norway for the past year. The ES8 is the company's first model to be sold outside of China. Nio says it has already sold 800 ES8s, but it has only set up 2 swap stations. Almost all customers in Norway chose to lease batteries, as a foreign company trying to compete with European car companies that are getting close to their 100th birthdays. Nio wants to keep prices low so that consumers will give them a fair look. Even though it's hard to get people to know the Nio brand, Qin is still confident in its technology. When it comes to both products and services, we are miles ahead of our competitors. It's true that there will be more EV models on the market in Europe in 3 years, but we're also making more progress. Qin added that Nio's first foreign plant opened this week in Hungary and will build battery swap stations for the European market due to the high expense of shipping them from China. If Nio can set up enough battery swap infrastructure in Europe, it could be a huge selling point for EU consumers because they wouldn't have to buy an expensive EV battery. They'd always get a fully charged battery when they swapped, and they'd be back on the road much faster than if they stopped at a charging pile, even if it was a DC fast charger. Lastly, Qin said that part of Nio's plan for Europe is to look for a partner with expertise in asset management to help finance the ownership of batteries that will be leased to customers in the EU. This is especially important because the number of customers in the EU will grow as Nio plans to grow its market. Next, Nio will start sending its ET7 and ET5 sedans to Europe as it continues to add battery swap stations to its network. Mercedes, BMW, and Vigo should be careful because Nio's president says the company is already ahead of them in technology and is coming after them where they live. It's like 2 runners going in the same direction. If you have a big lead, all you have to do is keep going at your own speed. So what different plans does Toyota have? Toyota Motor is sticking to its plan for electric vehicles, which includes hybrids like the Prius. Even though some investors and environmental groups have said that the company is switching to EVs too slowly, Toyota CEO Akio Toyoda, who has built a business strategy around the idea that EVs aren't the only solution for car manufacturers to reach carbon neutrality, announced on Thursday that the company will move forward with plans to offer an assortment of so-called electrified vehicles for the foreseeable future. These vehicles will range from hybrids and plug-ins to all-electric cars and hydrogen electric vehicles. Toyota has built his corporate strategy around the idea that EVs aren't the. A day after addressing the company's Toyota dealers at their annual conference in Las Vegas, he participated in a small media roundtable, where he declared through a translator that everything is going to be up to the customers to decide. Toyota addressed the need to convince skeptics of the company's strategy, including government officials concentrating regulations on all-electric battery vehicles, by saying that the automaker will present the hard facts about consumer adoption and the whole impact on the environment of producing EVs compared with hybrid electrified vehicles. Toyota was referring to the fact that the automaker will present the hard facts about consumer adoption and the whole environmental impact of producing EVs. Toyota reports that it has sold more than 20 million electric vehicles across the globe since the introduction of the Prius in 1997. According to the information provided by the corporation, those sales have prevented the release of 160 million tons of CO2, which is the same as the effect of 5.5 million fully electric battery automobiles. Toyota's statements were a reiteration of comments he made to hundreds of Toyota dealers and staff on Wednesday. In those remarks, he stated that the business will play with all the cards in the deck and provide a diverse selection of automobiles to meet the needs of all customers. Toyota, who has characterized himself as a car man or car nerd, said in a recording of the remarks that were presented to reporters that that's our plan, and we're sticking to it. Toyota reaffirmed the company's view that the widespread adoption of fully electric vehicles will take longer to become mainstream than most people anticipate it will. According to him, it will be challenging to comply with current regulations that call for the prohibition of traditional vehicles with internal combustion engines by the year 2035. This is a policy that both the state of California and the state of New York have said they intend to implement. Toyota officials have claimed that all electric cars and trucks are one answer, not the solution, to meet tightening global emissions rules and achieve carbon neutrality, while at the same time boosting their investments in such cars and trucks. Toyota is continuing to engage in alternate solutions, as well as hybrid vehicles such as the Prius, which combine electric vehicle technology with conventional internal combustion engine technology. The corporation believes its strategy is appropriate, since electric cars, EVs, will not be adopted in every region of the world at the same rate due to the expensive cost of the vehicles, as well as a shortage of infrastructure to support their use. Environmental organizations such as the Sierra Club and Greenpeace have been critical of Toyota's policy. As a result, Greenpeace has placed the Japanese manufacturer at the very bottom of its rating of decarbonization efforts within the automotive industry for the past 2 years. Over the next 9 years, Toyota intends to make an investment of around $70 billion in electrified vehicles, including $35 billion in fully electric battery technologies. It has plans to provide over 70 electric vehicles across the globe by the year 2025. The total number of all-electric vehicles that Toyota expects to sell annually by the year 2030 is approximately 3.5 million, which is only about a third of the company's present annual sales. What do you think can prevail in this EV market? That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed it. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more of our incredible videos. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.